Everyone, it's Angela and Karen back again for another podcast, and this time our perspective is all about the masks that people wear. I remembered the microphone this week just before Karen tells you. This is such a fascinating subject. It's something that can happen to anyone at any time when they feel the need to be someone else or to act in a particular way. And when I say the word feel, what I mean is it may actually be consciously or subconsciously, which is what hypnotherapists love to explore. So this is right up our street. So here we go again with our ready to give our views on this. So what do you think, Karen? Why do we wear different masks in the first place?
I think there can be a multitude of reasons, and I know certainly there's many reasons why I've done it personally in the past. But I think it can be to do with confidence and self-esteem.
Yeah.
So as a way to protecting ourselves against the vulnerability we can feel.
Yeah.
It can be about things like being devious and deceitful.
Yeah.
You know, that's another option.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think people just find it exciting to be playing those games, or to be getting over somebody, or to be fooling them in some way.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we don't even know that we're doing it as well. I think certainly that self-preservation thing that comes from maybe quite deep inside of us.
Yeah.
I think, as I say, sometimes we do it and we're almost unaware of it, either because it's coming from deep within or because we've done it so many times it's part of our personality.
Yeah, it's part of us.
Yeah.
What you mean. Yeah. And I think it's interesting what you were saying there about self-esteem and confidence and that sort of thing. So if you ever watch TV programs like things like The Masked Singer or The Masked Dancer.
I didn't know there was a masked dancer.
Didn't you?
No, I'll have to Google.
Yeah.
I'll have to find out about that.
Yeah, and when you watch those and the celebrity, using the term loosely sometimes, I think, is revealed, they often say like that they felt far more confident, or it may be somebody that's not sung for a long time, they've come back to singing and have felt like they can actually do it because they've got this mask on, this physical mask on, and no one knows who they are. They just enjoyed the anonymity of it all, felt like they could do whatever they wanted, which suggests that they don't feel like that maybe when they don't have the mask on in the real world. Yeah.
Perhaps it's also an indicator that it's something outside of their comfort zone.
Yes.
Because they must have a degree of confidence to have their celebrity status.
Yeah.
They've got something that makes people watch them, haven't they?
Yeah.
But still have all of the vulnerabilities that everybody else can have.
Yeah.
And I do find that very
I think sometimes we forget that with people in the who are in the limelight.
Yeah.
They might enjoy singing or acting or because that's what they want to do, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they want people looking at them all the time.
Yeah.
It's just they enjoy what it is that they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
But don't assume that they're confident in every single way.
That's
I
it.
think that's really good for people who aren't confident to hear. Actually,
Yes.
it's a really important message.
Yeah.
So in the real world, what sort of types of masks do we wear?
Yeah, this is interesting, isn't it? I mean, when I was thinking about this, and we were, because this was your suggestion that we talk about it. So I was really sitting there thinking, well, so what mask would we wear? And some of the ones that I came up with were things like being a happy wife when silently you're enduring domestic abuse. You're showing to the world that actually I am this happy person, I'm in this happy relationship, when really something else is really going on. Maybe a competent CEO, someone who's at the top of their game, appears to be at the top of their game to everybody, but sits in their office with huge amounts of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And then somebody who maybe, for instance, a mother or a father who is maybe even a single mother or father who to the world looks as if they're coping really well, but actually behind closed doors they've got a drink problem or a substance abuse problem. That they're having to deal with themselves as well. So they were the sort of things that I was thinking about with all of these sort of masks that we might wear.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it's that conflict, isn't it, between what you want the world to see and what you're really feeling inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all sorts of reasons why you may be experiencing those inner feelings and that inner turmoil, but also and lots of reasons why you might feel you've got to present in a certain way to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So then I think maybe we talk a little bit more about that. So I think and as you say, this is one that I've wanted to do for a long time. I think wearing a mask is often a coping strategy.
Yeah, I would agree with that, definitely. Yeah.
We're hiding our true feelings for some reason, and goodness knows the reasons will be many and
They're
various.
endless, aren't they?
Yeah, but it could be inadequacy or low self-esteem. It could be shyness. It could be guilt. It could be sort of some of the mental health issues, anxiety, depression, and stress. But I think it's a way that enables us still to function and to feel what we perceive to be our role in the world, whilst we don't feel that way inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right there, and protecting the feelings of others as well.
Yeah.
So I think you can think of it like that. It might be the loss of a loved one, or the loss of love in a relationship. Covering a secret that might hurt somebody else. So you're not wanting to show that, you're not wanting to be that person. And it might even be to hide irrational dislike of something or someone.
Yeah. There might be a societal expectation to react to a certain way. And this maybe sounds a little bit harsh, but I think I'm going to laugh anyway. But it's like maybe when you meet somebody's baby, isn't it? And we have to say that babies are beautiful, but actually they aren't all beautiful.
Some of them look like old people, don't they?
There's no benefit in saying that to some woman who's just gone through labour.
No.
Is there, so yes, I will tell her it's a beautiful baby. Yeah. So, but I think the lying thing is tricky, isn't it? Because I think, to try and protect someone's feelings is a good intention, isn't it?
There's a good intention there.
But we are also making a judgment about whether or not they have the right to know that.
Absolutely.
So this gets incredibly complicated, doesn't it?
It does.
Really, what a minefield that can become.
Because is it about us or is it about them?
Yeah. And actually, are we trying to save our feelings of discomfort, or is there some cowardice in there?
Yeah.
So you have to be really, really honest about your motives there, don't you?
I think you do, yeah. And I think it can be all of the above.
Yeah.
It can be everything that you've just talked about there. So, definitely. But deceiving and tricking people?
Well, we're never going to condone that, are we?
No.
A lot of these fake or scam relationships are in the news at the moment, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
And as I say, there's so many really quite visible examples of the hurt that can be done to people, emotionally and financially. There's often an intent to defraud, isn't there, as really, but...
Yeah, definitely. And because it's been Valentine's week this week, so it's been quite prominent out there, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I've even noticed that I've had... notices from my banks talking about relationship fraud and making sure that you're not being asked to give money to somebody that you've met on the internet who appears to be the absolute love of your life, but is then saying can't get here because of X, Y, and Z, and
my relative needs an operation.
Well, that's the main one that's used, isn't it? Or I don't have the money for the fare. Someone's stolen my money or stolen my ticket. Or there's so many excuses, aren't there? And then people just they buy into it because of loneliness, because of being vulnerable, wanting to feel loved, believing that somebody loves them in that way. So I think it's very, very... It's
very cruel, isn't it, to hit someone financially and emotionally.
Yes.
Neither of those things is good, in my opinion. But to do both of those things is particularly savage, I feel, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I absolutely don't condone that kind of behaviour.
I'm very pleased to hear it.
And I won't do it again. So I think we're both quite clear on that one, aren't we? On the rights and wrongs of that situation. But I think it can be appropriate to wear a mask. And I remember we talked about this on a course that we ran last summer, and I think it was your term actually. You said fake it till you make it. And I think we were talking about it in the terms of being confident.
Trying to build your confidence. Because one of the things that I think can really help you is because our minds don't distinguish between truth and a lie. They don't distinguish that. So if we tell ourselves that we're confident, then our subconscious mind will believe that we're confident and we'll start to act confidently. And so fake it till you make it is there for trying to build your own confidence in a particular situation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that was particularly well received, wasn't it, by the group that we were working with at that time. I think a lot of them really hadn't perhaps come across that concept before. But so I think that's a great scenario in which you might say that someone's wearing a mask. It probably isn't their true authentic self, but they're on the way to becoming that version of themselves by using that as a technique. So I love that one, and that is such a great catchphrase. I think fake it till you make it.
It is, and it's appropriate in some situations. In some it's not, because you don't want to be trying to fake something that you don't believe you can fake, and therefore it makes you feel even worse.
Yes. Yeah.
But you need to or you can use it in order to get to a particular place.
When I was thinking about this podcast, I kept coming up with about being your authentic self.
Yes.
And I think and I think we'll touch on that again. But I think that's what it is. It's about that thing about having the courage to be and being able to be your true self,
who you want to be, rather than who society, friends, family, everybody else thinks you should be.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference between those two, I think, for many people. And
other people's expectations of us are often for their advantage, not ours as well, aren't they?
But I think also in that, when you say that, and I truly agree with you there, but I think sometimes they don't realise what their own motives are.
I think that's true.
In their expectations of you.
Yeah.
And they're unable to think from their perspective whether this is actually right for you.
Yes. Other examples where I think it's fine to wear a mask would be to help you achieve an important goal.
Yeah.
And that might be, it's a big job interview and actually you're really, really nervous, but you don't want that to show. You want them to know the person that you are when you're not nervous, don't you? And that's why I think perhaps a lot of people have worn a mask in that scenario.
I'm sure.
Just one example of trying to achieve an important goal and just wearing something that isn't maybe quite true in the moment. But as you have implied already, it's kind of true to the person you would normally be without the stress of the situation, for example.
Yeah. Totally agree. And that's the same principle, if you like, as helping you through a difficult time.
Yes.
Whether that be, as we've sort of talked about earlier, whether that's the loss of somebody or the breakdown of a relationship. You often see when someone passes away that the family, that those closest to them are all brisk, they're getting on with things, everything. Yes, it's okay, we're dealing with this, I'm dealing with that, I'm dealing with that. There's this mask that goes on right up to the funeral usually, and then it may start after the funeral, they may start to become more authentic and to go through the whole process. I mean, the grief process is
long and varied.
I mean, it's not linear at all, and that the grief and the loss process is not. It's not just about somebody dying. It's the end of a relationship. It's losing your job. It's this can happen, and we can all wear those masks in those situations. Oh, I'm fine. I mean, how many times do you think you've said "I'm fine" in your life over your lifetime when you haven't felt fine?
Yeah. Or they can't possibly be fine, but they're saying it anyway.
That's right.
So maybe us, or it might be them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, perhaps a marriage breakdown, and you're both wearing a mask to protect your children.
Yes.
So many scenarios. Whereas, in the short term, it can be the right thing to do.
It can be
because you've just got to get through this, haven't you? And if that's the way you can get through it, well, that's the way to do it, then, isn't it? So I think there are lots of times, as we say, that where it is appropriate, but I guess sometimes it's less so. I think it can be ill-advised. What do you think?
I agree. Wearing a mask to conceal something that could be resolved, or I don't like using the word should, so I'm going to use the word ought to be resolved, perhaps, like an addiction, or like an undiagnosed or untreated health condition. And it may be that it would be in your best interest and the best interest of those around you for that to be resolved, but you may be putting a mask on around that, which could in circumstances be ill-advised.
I think this is quite often maybe in sort of the areas of mental health again.
Yes.
You know, you're hiding how anxious you are or how depressed you are, either because you feel you're weak or you want to protect other people's feelings and you don't want them to worry about you. So for those are the sorts of things I'm thinking of very specifically, I think, in this scenario. And I think also, I've already said, but I think it's if you're not being your authentic self, you know, it might not be that you are suffering with anxiety or depression or that you have an illness. It's just you're not being true to the person that you really are and that you really want to be. And it might be that you're wearing a mask maybe to stay in a relationship that is unhealthy, or to maintain an inappropriate friendship group. And I was thinking maybe, you know, the gang situation and the gang culture might be an example of that, where it tends to be young men, but it's not exclusively, act a certain way for their own self-preservation and to conform to the environment. And, you know,
even, I mean, gang culture, yes, definitely, but even in schools, you know, I mean, I'm sure there's many people that can think back to when they were at school, when they may have been in a group of either girls or boys who treated another boy or girl in a way that actually didn't sit right with them at all, but they did it because they didn't want to be the one that was treated like that. And you know, it's not appropriate, but at the same time, you can understand the reasons behind it.
I think particularly in younger children, you know, they're learning, aren't they? And they're still figuring the world out. And it's good that they have the instinct, perhaps, that it's wrong, but they almost certainly don't yet have the skills and resources to stand against it.
That's right.
And that's where the difficulty comes in, isn't it?
But I think that happens in adulthood too, because I think there are, I mean, I know this from my work as a therapist, certainly, but also from personal experience, that you can be within a group of friends and you might not actually get on with all of them, and you find yourself walking on eggshells around one particular person just in case they turn around and bite back at you. Because then you'll be pushed out of that group, and that is the same as being at school. That's the same situation, and it still happens in adulthood.
Yeah, it's true.
So, but I guess you then weigh it up as an adult. You balance it out, don't you?
Yes. And you can do a more rational assessment, can't you? I think
and if you can understand the personality of that person and the reasoning behind why they might act in that way, then you might give grace to it and be okay with it. Other times you might not wear that mask and, to use your term, become your authentic self and say, I'm walking away from this because I don't deserve to be treated like that, and I shouldn't have to walk around on eggshells around other people.
And the behaviour just doesn't align with your own values, you know. It's incredibly uncomfortable to spend the amount of time in that situation, I think, actually. It's very bad for us to do that.
But I also think your authentic self is that's a complex discussion in itself. Because how do you know what your authentic self is? And is there a particular authentic self who actually is an anxious person? And that is just who that person is. Whether they get help for it or not, that is their authentic self. So it's quite I think it's a subject that can be debated. And debated.
I mean, I'm no more expert in this than anybody else, really, and lots of people actually are using that term. It's quite current, isn't it?
It's a very common term.
But I think for me, it's about following your instincts and following the things that feel real. You know, we get that feeling inside, don't we? Or we get that thought about whether or not we're doing the thing that's really comfortable or right for us. And as I say, I think that's probably linked back to your moral code and the values that you hold
your values, your beliefs.
dear. So for me, it comes from there. Now, you know, we don't all have the luxury of being completely authentic all the time. There are financial pressures in life, there are emotional pressures in life, and this is where the compromises come in, and this is where the masks come in as well, I think, isn't it? Really.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
But I love, like you, I love the concept, and I just think, you know, I could talk about it for a long time. I don't know how long we want this podcast to last.
It might go slightly off piece, I think, with but no, I mean, it's a fascinating subject, I think. And you're right, it is used, that term is used so much more now. You only have to open a magazine, look at the news, you know, there's authentic self is there, isn't it? People are talking about it a lot, but it's just, I just find it fascinating with these terms, what different people think it means.
Yes. Yeah. What context are you using it in?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked just on that subject, we did talk about friendships and relationships. I think it can also be ill-advised to wear the mask if it's perhaps a job.
Yes.
That you're in. And again, it's not always that easy to leave, I appreciate, but sometimes you can just be wholly unsuited to the job.
Yeah.
Or it could be so stressful, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
And again, you know, it's not always the option just to say, well, I won't do it anymore. Life is not that simple always, is it? But I think sometimes...
Mostly it's not that simple.
Yeah, but it's our job to try and make it so. But I think that's a similar sort of scenario where you can find yourself with these dilemmas and these discomforts.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe the question, and I'd be interested to see what you think about this as well, but I think for me the question is, will I be a happier and a better person by not wearing the mask?
Well, that is an interesting question, isn't it? And who knows the answer? And I think the answer is different for every single person at various times within their life, isn't it? Because it could be that you might benefit from working on yourself, so you feel you are always your authentic self. But is that the reality? Are you always your authentic self?
Is it even possible?
Can you be? You know, if that person starts to annoy you, can you just say you're annoying me and leave them? Can you just walk away? You may not be able to do that in that situation. You know, it's just, there are just small things.
That's
like
a good thing,
that,
else I feel you might be off.
I'm just going now, halfway through the podcast.
Because
now
you're annoying me, Karen.
Halfway through? So, yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot that you can do. I personally think there's a lot that you can do to help yourself get to as close to, if not your authentic self, as you want to be. Because I, like you, believe that your authentic self is that part of you, that whole of you that follows your instincts.
Yes.
Because I think for me, our instincts are what's telling us is the right thing to do.
I agree.
And I think you can do that. You can, I mean, we work on these things a lot with clients that we see. You work on sleep, confidence, self-esteem, all of those things to try to get you in a better place.
Yeah.
And there is so much evidence out there to show that if you get good sleep, if you have good exercise, good nutrition, if you feel more confident about yourself, you increase your self-worth, your self-esteem, you will feel better. You will go through life feeling better. It doesn't mean that you won't face challenges, that you won't have difficulties, and that you won't, lose people that you love, etc., etc. You will. Everyone will. But what it does is it gives you those mechanisms and those tools and those skills and abilities to help you cope with those things better.
Yes. Yeah. And that's absolutely the best that anyone can hope for, isn't it? Because it's just the reality of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
For people.
Yeah, totally the reality of life. So, yeah.
And I think the other thing that we do is we help people to really understand the good things in their life.
Yeah.
Even in the worst of times.
Yes. Yeah, because when you're going through the worst of times, it's very, very difficult without the help of somebody else to be able to see what is good, what you are grateful for, what has been positive for you during that time.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean to say that you are, or anybody else is, dismissing the fact that you are feeling low or you're feeling anxious, because low feelings, anxious feelings, negative emotions are all acceptable emotions.
Yeah.
Perfectly acceptable to feel those. However, in order for you to have the best well-being you can, it's best not to wallow in them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. No one wants to dismiss somebody else's feelings. However, there are ways that you can help yourself and someone else can help you to feel better.
I think it's often the challenge for us when we're working with people, isn't it? Because quite often you will have a client who has a situation that perhaps you can identify with very closely.
Yeah.
And because you have first-hand practical experience of this, the desire to, or the feelings that you have for them, it's so tempting to almost get into that big pool of despair with them And of course, that's completely not our job.
No.
So to find the balance between recognising and accepting and showing empathy for the situation they're in, whilst encouraging them to find the strength to move on. I think me, it can be one of my bigger challenges.
Well, I think that is a challenge for anyone in the therapy room, to be able to get through. Totally agree. Yeah. So
if you think that working on yourself would help, there's lots of ways you can do it for yourself. Personally, I'm a big fan of things like YouTube, and there's so much self-help information on there.
Yeah.
I think, many years ago I started on the path of doing meditations and relaxation to help improve my sleep. This is way before hypnotherapy. So there's a lot of self-help information there. Or you might find that you need help to improve your confidence or to resolve your depression or your anxiety. And so in that case, try and find out what the resources are available for you. I mean, there's always the GP, of course.
Yeah.
There's people like us. There are a lot of resources out there, depending on, the funds and the situation that you find yourself
what
in.
you need. There's the Samaritans as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some really amazing, more and more we see people setting up sort of self-help groups in response to difficult situations.
Yeah.
That's cropping up all the time. So I think there is a lot of empathy and support out there, if you can find the courage to go out and to look for it.
I think that's right, Just make sure it's the right one for you.
Yeah, do your research.
And that it's not going to make your situation worse. Because I do think there are some groups out there, some self-help groups even, where it can become a sharing of all the negative, as opposed to helping people with positive situations and solutions maybe for things that they're going through.
I mean, perhaps we would be looking for people to look for survivors' tales and how they did it. That sort of angle is perhaps a good positive one to be looking for when you're doing your research in these areas. I just talked now about joining someone in the pool of despair, and for any length of time, that is, in our experience, that's absolutely not the way to go.
It's not helpful at all.
So as I say, survivor's tale or positive steps, things that you can do that are positive, that are encouraging and that are helping you along the path is probably the things that you'd be looking for there. And I think sometimes as well it takes time and it takes a plan, doesn't it? Particularly maybe if there's a financial constraint. So we mentioned the job scenario. Okay, so maybe you've made a firm commitment to get away from that job because it's not good for you. But life is what it is, and we all have bills. So it might be you need to plan some steps. So look at your CV, start some serious job search, talk to your friends, find out about training opportunities. Sometimes you need a plan, and you have to accept it will take a little bit longer to resolve, maybe.
Or even join something like LinkedIn, where you can see other people in roles that you might like to be in, talk to them, and try and get forward that way. Because if you don't want to speak to somebody, something like LinkedIn where you can message someone may actually be a better route.
And certainly a great way to start if you're not feeling as confident or as sure. I think that is good advice.
And lots of people on there will talk about free webinars and such like that they're running that you might be able to tap into to help you. So
But it can be a bit of a longer journey, and that's just a reality, and we just need to accept that, don't we? And then but as I say, it's important to have a plan and to be constantly looking for the things that you can do just to help you on that journey. Not that we ever say that much at all, is it? In the therapy room, I never say that to anybody. So the masks that people wear, I just think it's as fascinating as people are fascinating, and so many reasons to do it. Sometimes it can be a good thing, but I'm going to just mention one more time, you're authentic. So I think,
excellent. So that's brilliant. Great subject, Cameron. Well done.
Yeah, I enjoyed them. Thanks for listening.
But we're still going to end with what's been good for you.
I know we are.
So tell me some things that you're grateful for, that's been positive in your life.
Okay, so what's been good? Oh, my decorating's done.
Oh, fantastic.
That's fantastic. That is really great. We're very happy about that. I've got to do the woodwork. That still has to be done.
Okay.
Yeah, so But that's okay because I can potter around that and sort it out. So I'm very happy about that. What else? The days are definitely getting lighter and longer, aren't they? And I love that. And it's been quite mild again recently, so it's made my walks in the morning a lot more fun. So I'm very happy about that too. And I think there should always be at least 3, even when it's me and I'm struggling to think of a third. Well, I had a lovely social catch-up last night, actually.
Oh,
yeah,
brilliant.
Just in a local pub. I met up with a friend who I love to see, and we did some good old catch-up. So that was great.
Ah, brilliant.
Happy with that?
Yes.
Does that tick the boxes?
I think that's okay.
Okay, great. And so what about you?
What about me? So I had the most wonderful thing last week happen to me. I got a parcel delivered through the door, and I knew that I hadn't ordered anything.
Okay.
And I'd been having a little text conversation with a friend of mine the day before who had asked me what my thoughts were on poetry.
Oh, okay.
So we were having a bit of backwards and forwards conversation on this. And this parcel came, and I thought, I haven't ordered anything. That looks suspiciously like a book. So
always a good thing to receive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I opened it up, and it was a book of poetry from my friend.
She sounds fabulous.
She's amazing, my friend Hannah. And she had sent me this book of poetry, which is by a lady called Donna Ashworth, and it's called Wild Hope.
Okay.
And it's lovely. It's full of poetry and prose. And she just sent me a little note saying that when she'd received it, she thought, when she started to read it, she just thought about me. And so she wanted to send me a copy.
I think that's
How
adorable.
lovely is that? I mean, that's amazing.
That's so thoughtful, isn't it? And so kind. What a
Yeah.
lovely thing to do.
Really lovely.
It's potentially a really nice pay it forward idea, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
To send someone a book.
Yeah.
Most people love a book, don't
I
they?
do. Yeah. So it was lovely. It was just lovely. It was very unexpected.
Yeah.
So it was really, really nice.
Yeah.
And the same
That's
day, just after I'd opened that, I got a text from another friend, and the text literally said, "Just wanted to let you know I love you." And I just thought, how lucky am I? I've got the most amazing friends. Because if you're having a rough day, a down day, or a low day, and someone sends you something like that, it just reminds you that there are people out there that are thinking about you.
Yes.
They've just
absolutely.
thought about you in that moment.
Yeah.
Which is so lovely.
And to have the thought is one thing, but just to, and it was only a short message, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
a text.
literally all it was.
But
yeah.
the effect that can have on someone's day, that's incredible.
It was wonderful. So
wow. Did you have 3 things on the same day, or are you going to dig deep somewhere else?
No, I was going to mention actually something that you said earlier, because as you know, I take my dog, my lovely Oreo dog, out very early in the morning.
Yeah.
And this morning was the first morning where we were just coming back into the house, and I saw the sun rise. So the beginnings of sunrise, so not the full sunrise, because this was about 6:20 this morning. But I looked across the town and I could see the church spire, and just behind it that strip of orangey pink,
which is a lovely thing to see.
And I just stood there for a moment and thought, that's amazing. That's the first one I've seen this year on my dog walk, and how lovely is that? And it made me smile.
Yeah.
So
just gives you such a lift. They're great. I love all of those. I think they're fabulous.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I'm feeling very blessed at the moment.
Yeah. And you should.
Yeah.
You should. But it doesn't happen all the time, so it's extra precious, isn't it? When we get that.
Yeah. It's really good.
I love those.
So I think we've come to the end of the podcast for today.
We ticked all of those boxes, Angela. We've done all the things we normally do.
And I know the last time we did the podcast, we talked about the fact that we were going to do the next podcast on manifesting,
which we haven't done.
However, the next one that we do will be on manifesting. And
we'll do a drum roll.
Yeah,
do a drum roll.
And we're going to have a guest.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
So we will be having somebody else with us talking about manifesting. So I can't wait for that.
No,
great.
I think controlling 3 of us talking is going to be.
Oh, we'll see how we get on.
Oh my goodness! Well, check back in a while, and I think is it the 15th we're recording it? Middle of March, I think, isn't it?
Middle of March. Yeah.
So check back then. It could be carnage. I don't know.
We'll just have to see.
We managed carnage, but there's just 2 of us, don't we? But we're lovely loose joints, as anything could happen.
Yeah.
Just a little teaser about who it is there.
Yeah, I heard that little tease going on there. Brilliant. Okay.
Okay, well, I loved that one. So thank you for letting me do the masks that people wear for joining in.
That was brilliant. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? That's as fascinating as people, as I think I've already said.
Yeah. Well, take care, and we will see you next time.
Yeah. Thanks very much for listening.